Okay, ready to start?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, we're already filming actually. Okay, hello everyone. This is Nemanja Sonero, and we are now recording actually the first official, well, maybe not the first. I did some interviews in the past, but for the website 8motion, this is the first video podcast we're doing, and we have a special guest, Mr. Mark Anthony Shepard.
What's up? So I'm like the test. I'm like the test project.
Yeah, you're the guinea pig, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully it works out.
Yeah, it will work out. And this is, like I said, the first one of many, and we're going to have a lot of beautiful guests. And I wanted to speak to you because you're one of my best friends, and I really appreciate what you do and your work and your career. And yeah, it's good to talk to you, man. Even like this, sometimes we don't talk for a long time, so maybe this is a good way.
Yeah, haven't seen you since, I don't know, it feels like forever.
Yeah, something like that. So I would like to start with some questions about you and your beginnings of not just career, but life also. So where were you born?
I was born small island. Well, not so small, but in the Caribbean, island called Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm.
Yeah. Great weather, beaches. We're known for the carnival. It's one of the best carnivals in the world, alongside Brazil.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much. I'm a small island boy.
Island boy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you were a kid, what was your favorite thing to do? Because it was not dancing, or was it dancing?
No, I hated dancing. Even though I loved watching it on movies and stuff, but I hated dancing. I was an only child. Well, I am an only child, so I got into a lot of mischief. Playing with my friends, and but when I was around 8 or 9, I started to fall in love with music. Because in the Caribbean, there's music everywhere. The first thing that happens when my parents woke up was to turn the radio on, listen to some news, and then there'll be music. And my dad has been military all his life, so he would come home from work and put on music. So I was surrounded with music. So at the age of 9 or 10, I started to get really interested in music. So
what kind of music?
Well, all kinds. Well, back in the days, it was the local music, which was called calypso, soca, but we had, some soul, some funk, some what we call slow jams, disco. That was the era. I'm kind of giving away my age there. But yeah, I started to get really interested in my aunt, who was already living in Toronto. She would do regular visits to Trinidad. So one year I asked her if she can buy me a little, like a record player that also has a cassette player. It's like this box that they used to have. It's like big square box record player on top, and then you had the cassette player, double cassette player with a radio. And so she brought me one for Christmas, and I used to play music and record. And but then I started to get a little bit creative because you had DJs on the radio doing all these cool mixes. So I started to do what's called pause mixing. So pause mixing is when you play a song, you record, and at a certain point you hit pause, and then you put on another record that you think has the similar BPMs, so beats per minute. Yeah. And you find the one point where it's the best point for it to start, and then you hit record again, and then pause, and then I'll do that with like 10, 15 songs. So when I play it back, it sounds like a mix. Yeah. So I actually started, that's how I actually started mixing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah. And because of being an only child, my parents also got me into sports. So I did track,
Mm.
And I also played football.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But still nothing connected to what you do today.
No, absolutely not. Nothing connected.
So,
Mhm.
so what was the starting point for you? Like, what got you into dancing? If you haven't danced before so much, what got you attracted to dancing then?
Well, um, in Trinidad, I spoke about the carnival that we have, and carnival is very festive. People wear costumes, and there's dancing in the streets. Carnival, the festivity starts like 2 weeks before the actual carnival. There's all been music, so I used to go to little parties, and I would, you know, shake my head a little bit, maybe shake my hips a little bit, but nothing too serious.
Mm.
Um, And then when I was around, I would say 13, 14, just in my neighborhood, they had these group of guys that used to break dance.
Mm.
And I used to go watch their practice. And that kind of really got me intrigued.
Mm.
But, I looked at it as like, yeah, there's no way. There's no way I can ever do that. I'll probably break my neck trying to do a windmill or something. But it was always, subconsciously, it was always in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And only when I moved to Toronto in the 80s, I was surrounded by a lot of music and dancing. And Toronto is where my DJ career really kicked off. With house music, because I'm originally a house music DJ.
Mm.
Started off with turntables. I also did some hip hop and R&B, so I did all the scratching and all that stuff. But my skill was the beat mixing.
Mm-hmm.
So in Toronto is really where I got my chance to DJ at really big parties, big after-hour parties,
Mm-hmm.
1,000+ people, this crazy stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
And then during the course of my DJing, I would hear Latin music once in a while, some salsa music here and there. And the rhythm always caught me. Until one day I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. Let me go see if I can do a dance class.
Mm.
But the mistake that I made is I did it at the time with my girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, but we did it together and it was a disaster.
In what way?
Oh, well, she wanted to lead. and it was a disaster. We fought all the time, and I said, you know what, that's it, I'm out. So I stopped. I quit. I didn't want to hear no Latin music. I continued DJing, and until one day I was over at my uncle's place, and he had a friend over, and she was also a salsa dancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I, spoke about my interests, and she said, okay, well, let me help you.
Mm.
So that's actually where it started. I would go to her place, we would practice. There was a dance show every Wednesdays on television for like 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
So we would practice, mostly Cuban style.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where it started for me. I got let's say my mojo back.
So
Yeah.
what got you from salsa to teaching actually salsa? How did you become a teacher?
Well, all during this course of my DJing and practicing dancing, I actually had a full-time job in finance. It was actually the beginning of my career in finance. I worked for a really good company, and I moved from being someone who just worked for someone until I moved up the ranks, and then I became supervisor, became manager, and the company invested in the employees, in the management team. So they sent us on training in how to deal with people, how to deal with a lot of situations, just how to be a good manager, good supervisor, a good mentor, role model. So because of that, I became a people person, and I enjoyed actually coaching and training people. So when I joined the dance school, shout out to United Salseros. That was my first dance school in Toronto. They saw some potential in me. I was actually surprisingly a really quick learner in salsa. Yeah, but my teachers were excellent, amazing. They're technicians, so I was able to learn a lot, and they encouraged me to join their teaching program at the school.
When was this year?
This was my first basic was in 2000. That was my first basic. So they asked me to join their teaching program, I believe 2002.
That was for crossbody salsa more? Or?
Yeah, that was for crossbody salsa, yeah. And on one. Yeah.
So how does it, back then, I'm very curious about those days in on two, on one, how was it like the scene? Was it equally on two, or it was something still new for Canada?
Well, back then it was strictly on one, Cuban style. And because of our close proximity to New York, we used to go to New York specifically the first and the third Sunday of every month, because of there was a social in New York City called Jimmy Anton Social, very famous social. So we would actually go to New York at that specific time, and we would take classes on two, and then we'll bring the information back to Toronto. And we also at the time had some really great teachers coming to Toronto and having workshops. So amongst my school and some of the other dancers, some of the other top dancers in Toronto, we quickly transformed dancing on two. Even though the on one was still very popular, but the on two was growing and growing quickly.
And people liked it more, or how did it work?
Say again?
So people, how did they respond to dancing on two in that moment?
They responded well because it was new. It was new, and there was also that musicality element to it, which was really interesting for us as advanced dancers and teachers. So we relayed that information back to the students, and they were really quite interested in it. And also we were very fond in dancing in New York. So for us, it was important for us to be at a level dancing on two, especially in New York, because New York back in those days was a tough place for dancing. Very, very tough. Yeah, we had to, step up our game if we want to dance with any New Yorker.
Okay. And I'm just curious because I haven't, in that era, I only started dancing salsa. So I'm curious, in New York back then, like almost everyone danced on two, and like, for example, dancing on one, was it present in New York? Or?
It was present, but not a lot. Well, not that I encountered. Most of the places, the parties that we went to, it was all mostly onto the dance schools that we went to. So back in those days, we visited classes with Eddie Torres, Frankie Martinez, Santa Rico, and many other dancers. Some I just can't I can't really recall the names right now, but and they were mostly on two. And the training was quite vigorous, and we had a lot to learn. Yeah.
So what is your favorite, on one or on two?
Well, I dance both, but I would say because of my on two training and dancing for many, many years. When I dance on one now, I still use that musicality that on two gives you. So I still listen for the tumbao. I still listen for the clave. So I still have that on two feeling when I dance on one. So I actually don't discriminate. If my partner if my partner dances on two, I will dance on two. If she doesn't know how to dance on two, I will still enjoy dancing on one.
For me, like I love to dance on one and two, and I learned first Cuban salsa, then son. So when I started crossbody, on two made sense, but still, I know a lot of people when they switch to dancing on two, they almost like, I don't want to dance on one. It's not so interesting. But then people like Luis Vasquez, the brothers, they all dance on one and two, but I know they prefer on one. So I was always wondering, like, why, like, how do people feel on one or two? And like, for example, you say on two, you feel musicality better than on one. So can you explain more what you mean by that?
Well, because when you dance on two, you follow the tumbao, the congas, and you have the clave, you have the rhythm of the cowbell, of the campana, right? And there's a big emphasis on the six. So if I don't, for someone who doesn't feel like counting, all they have to do is just listen clear for the congas, and they can just dance onto for the whole song just by following the rhythm of the congas. Where on one, there is really no specific instrument that you follow when dancing on one. But because of dancing on two for so many years, when I listen to Latin music, I hear the instruments so clearly now, that when I dance on one, I just I still follow the instruments, and I still have that feeling, and I don't dance with like a power one. Yeah, from back in the days, that's what made the Vasquez brothers really so popular, because they had the strong emphasis on the one, the power one, and then you had the on two dances where a lot of people said the on two was a lot more smoother, look a lot more elegant and so forth. But for me, my on one and on two don't feel any different now. When I hear salsa music, I dance. Yeah. Okay. Or when I hear the Cuban music, right? That feels, it feels a little bit different, or you have different types of moves, different types of movements, and so forth. So I pretty much like it all. So it doesn't matter if it's, and I always laugh when some people say, when they say that, they talk about on two music and on one music. And I always ask them, what is the difference? Like, what is that exactly on one music and on two music? Yeah, I hear music and I dance.
Yeah, I remember when I started dancing also, like I said, crossbody after Cuban, and many people would be like, okay, if you dance on one, you dance LA, you dance on two, you dance New York. I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, if you can dance on two and still dance in New York style if you're from, LA style if you're from LA. I think it's a matter of style completely, not
yeah. Yeah, because as dancers, we all have our own specific style. We have our own different feeling of the songs, so for me, there's really no different. I can dance on two. I can dance on two to a nice Cuban song or timba. It doesn't really matter. I can dance on one to a mambo song by Tito Puente, for example. Yeah, so it's really no difference.
Well, what do you feel changed since those days and these days in recording connected to the style, to the dance style on the parties, for example? Because I have a feeling when I started dancing salsa more than 15 years ago, I felt it was more, I remember we were dancing to all kinds of music. And today I feel people are a little bit more picky, which can be a good thing. But I feel somehow for me, it's how do I say this? I feel there was more somehow connected to the music there, and the people were more connected back in the days. Now I feel, for me, kind of salsa got it more into show style. And I know some people think, I spoke to many that think alike, that some don't agree, but I feel salsa changed a lot. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I agree to some points. You know, there is not a lot. There is a lot, but not a lot of people in our generation who are still actually dancing, who are still teaching, who are still current in their styles or in their mentality. And yes, it has changed a lot. Back then, people, well, first it changed by how we learned. Yeah. There was no social media back then, right? There was pen and paper, or you would save some money and you would go buy yourself a video recorder. Yeah. And we will go to the workshops, we'll record the workshops after, or we will write down, make some notes, and we will get together and we will practice, right? There was no posting online, sharing it with the world. It was, we paid our money for the workshops. This information is for me and maybe some friends who was in the workshop, we would practice. Yeah. So, we learned actually by investing in our learning. And I, also there was a lot of live music back then also. And so we would really pay attention to the live music. I remember all the dancers around me knew every instrument in an orchestra, every role that every band member played. We will actually go to a party or festival, and we would actually pay attention to what the musicians are doing on stage. And then we will have a dance. Or sometimes we wouldn't even dance. We will watch the band for the whole set. Yeah. Back in the days, the social dancing was really, really strong. People really paid attention to social dancing. Now, as you said, yeah, I feel that a lot of the times people don't really social dance anymore. They perform on the dance floor. Because what's happening on stage seems to have a really big influence on what's happening on the dance floor. Even in some of the workshops being taught, they're teaching, stuff for the stage, and not for social dancing.
What do you think can be done to improve that, to maybe change that, to go back more to the social aspect?
Well, maybe first offering more workshops that incorporates social dancing. So, and there's a few festivals. I actually did that workshop a few weeks ago in Amsterdam. I taught a social dancing workshop in Amsterdam. A little bit of theory and some practical stuff. So just sharing my experience in some of the important things in social dancing. By listening to the music, connecting with your partner, doing moves. You let the music tell you what to do as a dancer, as a leader, as a follower, right? So respecting the music and the space around you, and not trying to impress your partner by doing all these fancy moves, just taking your partner on that journey. Yeah, because that's how I learned, and that's how and that's how my teachers learned, and the people around me, that's how we all learned. I feel now we kind of we're losing that just a little bit.
But do you know why are we losing that? Do you think is the social maybe media to exposure? Is it something else, or people need something else, or what do you think?
It's really hard to say. Us as teachers, we have a responsibility, right? We have a responsibility to, I mean, we can change people's lives just in 1 hour in a workshop, right? But I think we need to give them, the correct information. Many people, they want to run before they walk. They want to learn everything today. They don't have patience in learning. And, some teachers, and this is in my opinion, I feel that some of the teachers have lost the social aspect of the whole Latin scene. It's more about the business, right? And it's more about fame and how many likes they can get on YouTube or Instagram. So everything has to be big and flashy, right? And so yeah, we just kind of lose some of that essence of the whole scene. So we have young students. Their main goal in getting into salsa is to get on stage, be famous, and hopefully make some money. Right? Some of the young dancers, and it's not really about learning some of the history, the culture, right? The music, right? I know some people that can do flips and tricks really, really, really well, but you ask them for some names of singers, or you ask them to name an instrument in a orchestra, they stumble a bit, right? Or what's the difference between mambo and guaguanco, for example, or the difference between cha-cha and boogaloo. Right? They don't know the answers, so it's like they're learning. They want to run before they walk.
So it means you believe we should focus more on education, getting deeper into the core of the music and the dance, and really giving people a stronger foundation, as I understood.
Yes, I strongly believe so. Yes, okay. Yes.
Yeah, this is something that I notice also in salsa. I notice it now in Kizomba community, bachata, and I think it's also connected to the media. Like there's a lot of, now everything is visible. Like if people, when you dance socially, they put out 50 phones, so you're going to be visible online, so you do more flashy things. I understand. I've been in those situations completely. But I do feel lately in all our dance communities, we should, I believe, focus more on sharing more information. And I do feel people actually appreciate it when you do that. Because for a while I was thinking now that maybe it's good to focus on more commercial things. This is what people need. But actually, when I share what I feel, which is to share deeper things, I see people actually really appreciate it and they want it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think those types of workshops also kind of handy, because a lot of the workshops are all practical stuff. Sometimes we should have just 1 hour of just sharing your experience, just talking. Making us understand what the students feel, what they actually need, what they want. Because sometimes we don't take the time to really get to know our students better, even though we only have an hour with them. So, and I know students, they appreciate, that theory part of learning. And I think maybe we need more of that.
Yeah, I believe so too. So I'm curious now, as we mentioned a little bit of Kizomba, how did you start Kizomba? How did you get the interest from salsa to Kizomba to focus more?
Well, it started in 2004 when I went to, I had an event. Well, we had an event. I was with my partner, Stephanie. We had an event in Haarlem in the Netherlands. But we made a stop in Paris a week before, just to check out the scene there. And the salsa scene in Paris or in France, but mainly Paris, was really, really strong. So we went, check it out. We actually met some really cool people, and we went to one of the parties. I don't remember where it was, but I remember at the end of the night, maybe 30 minutes or so before the party ended, the music changed. And it changed to this really slow beat with some bass, and they're singing in French. And then I saw everyone just started hugging and started doing some dance, some slow jam dance like I did back in high school. So I asked someone, is like, what is that? And what's going on? Like, what's happening? And they said, it's Zouk. It's Zouk love music, right? I was like, Zouk love, like, where's that from? And they said, from Martinique, from Guadeloupe, right? French Caribbean. I was like, oh man, this is super cool. And I said, you know what, I have to try this. So I just asked someone to dance, and, I just kind of looked at what other people were doing. It seemed quite simple. So I did the same, and, I said, thank you. And, I left the party. I was like, wow, that was really cool. And then, I didn't really think about it. And then I went to another event in the South. It's one of the events that I've been going for many, many years. And I saw people dance doing it there too, but not at the end of the night, but they would put two or three songs after 45 minutes of salsa. I was like, wow, this is very cool. So obviously it piqued my interest even more. And then I went back again 1 year, and then they started playing. I started hearing a different, similar in terms of the beats, but different kind of musicality. Right? And I was like, okay, now what is this? And that's when I met Tucosta. Yeah.
Which year was that?
Ooh, that was 2012 or 13, I want to say. Yeah. And he was there as a teacher. And he started talking about Kizomba. I was like, okay, all right. And I saw the dance, looked slightly different. And that's when I saw Marinasso for the first time, right? And they were playing Kizomba and some samba, and I saw him dancing, and I was like, wow, this is super cool. Yeah. But what really got me interested first, I would say, well, the dance, yes, but the music, because being from the Caribbean, we have African roots. So the music was something so different, but still some beautiful musicality, like in the Latin music. Yeah, especially the samba. So it's immediately I fell in love, and I understood that you mix this music, you beat mix. So that really piqued my interest as a house music DJ.
Yeah, you can mix finally.
Yes, because when I stopped DJing in house music, because salsa just took over my life. After a few years, I quit my job, my full-time job. 2003, I went into salsa full-time. And then I started DJing salsa music. First from vinyl, and then I switched to CDs, and then I switched to the controllers, and along with bachata. But there's no mixing in salsa, right? I know some DJs do it, but for me, you play the song until the end, get the final dip, you start the next song. So there's no mixing in salsa for me. So with the Kizomba, I understood, I can start mixing again. So I actually, start talking to some people. I got a lot of help from Tucosta, and I started doing some research, learning a little bit about the culture, the history of the music. And so I slowly started DJing, mainly at home, and I said, you know what? Maybe I can bring Kizomba to Kiev. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure about the rest of Ukraine, but I know no one was doing anything like that in Kiev.
So just to make it clear, because people don't know, you moved from Canada to Europe, and then you moved to Kiev in one moment.
Yes. So I moved, that visit that I told you about in 2004 to Paris.
Yeah.
I fell in love with the whole European culture and the scene, the dance scene. Um, right after we went to that festival in Haarlem in the Netherlands, it was an amazing festival. You know, I danced with some really amazing European dancers. I went back to Toronto. I told all my friends, I said, listen, I'm moving to Europe. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know where, but I'm moving because the scene there is just, it's crazy.
Mm.
So in 2008, I moved to Stockholm. And in 2010, yes, I moved to Kiev.
I actually remember that moment because we were together coming from the festival to, where were we? In Tallinn,
We were
right?
in, we were
Oh,
in,
Vilnius.
well, yeah, well, I met you in Vilnius.
2010.
Yeah, I met you in Vilnius, and then we
Uh-huh.
met again in the festival in Tallinn.
Yeah, and I remember you had
Yes.
suitcases. You were moving right after the
Yeah.
festival to
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, so when I got here, I started a few months later. I started teaching salsa, and then the kizomba kicked in. So I said, you know what? Now is a good chance to introduce something new
Mm-hmm.
here in Kiev. So I remember um, dancing at a party where I was DJing in Kiev, and I would put a kizomba song, and Olesa and I would be the only couple on the floor dancing.
Oh, but there was no
We
one
weren't.
else dancing back
There
then.
was no one else. We weren't really good, but we were dancing,
Mm.
and everybody would be watching. Is like, what the hell is that? And what kind of music is this? Because it's at a salsa party.
Mm.
And but during that course, because Olesa, my wife and dance partner, we would travel to other festivals,
Mm.
teaching and performing and stuff. But slowly they started adding kizomba to the festival workshop
Yeah.
lineup. So we would actually go take the class or
Mm.
classes. And that's how we learned. And then we brought the information back to Kiev. So 2013, I believe, we started teaching kizomba.
Mm.
We were the first or one of the first.
In Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. How did people from Ukraine, did they like Kizomba right away?
Uh, yeah, they actually did. Our classes was really busy, and some of the teachers who were teaching salsa and bachata came to us, and so you know they learned kizomba from us. Well, at that stage, so I guess more of the introduction stuff, and
Mm.
so they were able to go back to their relative schools and start teaching on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So back then, Kizomba, now in Ukraine, is it a lot of people dancing now?
Yeah, there's a lot of people dancing now. You know, because for Ukrainians, um, especially like the ghetto zouk music and you know the urban music, it's really kind of catchy for them.
Mm.
And we have a lot of people that haven't danced before.
Mm.
Um, so they're first time dancers. So the music is catchy for them.
Mm.
Some of the early students, because we were doing a lot of kizomba at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of them came from salsa. They had a good connection with the kizomba music because of the musicality and the live instruments. So they had a connection with the semba because of that.
Mm.
But because a lot of the students now are people who have never danced before, um, the ghetto zouk, the urban type music, you know, the R&B remixes and stuff, it's a little bit more catchy for them.
Mm.
So that being said, the urban is a little bit more, not a little bit more, much more popular in Ukraine
So,
than
so it means
kizomba
more.
samba.
You mean the dance or the music, like as in more ghetto zouk, tarashinya, or
Yeah, both dance and music.
okay.
Yeah, it's much more popular.
Okay.
Mainly because that's what most of the schools are teaching.
Mm. Do you
Yeah.
think, does it depend, will people like more, for example, kizomba or all kinds of music, not just focusing on one style? If we speak about the kizomba community, so for example, zouk, ghetto zouk, tarashinha, do you think people, that does it depend on the teacher in the school who starts teaching that, or is it just people liking more this or that?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. It's a combination of both. It's, most of the schools now are going more towards, as you said, the ghetto zouk, tarashinha, the urban, and also the influence of social media.
Mm.
Yeah. Usually when they go and they type in kizomba, they still see a lot of these more urban type videos.
Mm.
Tarashinha, you know, all the or the tarasho, and all that stuff. People with crazy moves and different names for different styles and stuff. So it's a big influence here. Yeah,
So
and most.
Sorry, finish. Sorry, go ahead.
And mostly when they talk about, they're interested in visiting a festival, it's mostly they want to go to Paris, right? They want to visit Paris for the festival. You will rarely hear someone saying, "Oh, I want to go to Lisbon," or "I want to go to Angola." Yeah.
So why do you
Only
think it's that?
Ah.
Why do you think we have people who think it's better to go to this or more to France for kizomba than Portugal?
Well, because a lot of the newer students, some of them don't really know the roots or the history behind it. So for them, if someone started 12 months ago, 6 months ago, in their surroundings, in their friends, their peers, they just hear about, um, all these cool dancers coming up from France or from the Netherlands, and all the big festivals and the music, and so everything is really more French related. So that's all they know. So they don't really have someone in their ears talking about, hey, but by the way, before that movement, there was this, right? From Portugal, from Angola, from other parts of Africa. Yeah.
So
There's a lot of people, they dance kizomba and they don't even really know what it means. Right.
So it's like the salsa topic we spoke about. It's more about actually getting deeper and sharing with people more about the instruments, the music itself, and the dance, and yeah, I feel with social media, which is a great thing to have, especially for dancing. It spreads more dance across the world. I still feel what I even spoke to some of my colleagues that I believe we should advertise more. It's a simple thing. Just put more like in marketing into sharing the kizomba, what actual kizomba videos are, semba, zouk music, just to share more. This is something that I feel lately our community needs more for to simply understand better and yeah, learn more about music, especially for places who are still new to kizomba.
And the really funny thing about it is I love both. I love kizomba, samba. I love the tarashina, the ghetto zouk, the zouk bass. I mean, I love all that stuff. As a dancer, as a DJ, as a teacher, I want to be able to go in any direction. But there are some people that are so fixated on the urban movement, and they have their favorite DJs or teachers. But what they don't even know is some of the big names for urban, for DJs, for example, they love kizomba, they love samba. I've heard them DJ kizomba and samba, and it was incredible, right? So I think we all need to kind of share our love and passion, and just let people know, especially young students, young impressionable minds, that it's fun to be able to go in either direction, right? So you go to a party, just one room, you have different styles of dancers. There's some urban music, ghetto zouk, terracina playing. Okay, you can dance. And then some samba, kizomba comes on, and you can still dance, right? I find some people are actually they either hating urban or they hating samba, kizomba. Why not just open your minds? Give it a try, right?
Yeah, like that.
And yeah, maybe it might, they might enjoy it, So some people actually have the wrong information, and they have the wrong influence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my opinion.
Well, definitely that exists too. What me also as a dancer, I love all kinds of music because it creates a nice dynamic on the party, and we can try different things. And that's why I say about salsa. I like, for example, for me, let's call it the old days, when we had one room. In that one room, we had salsa romantica, dura, we had timba, we had bachata, we had merengue. I mean, I understand things are moving and changing, and we should all adapt. And now there's more choice, a lot more people, different rooms. But I feel the same, actually, especially for Kizomba, because on the Kizomba parties, we have so many different styles if you go to a Kizomba party. And this is something what I would like people actually to hear. And me personally, as a teacher, I would love I would love them to dance to everything. Whatever they hear, if it's a good song, why not? Just go ahead and go crazy. And this is something I feel we need to promote more, that there is so much variety.
Yeah.
Going to a supermarket, not getting one thing, but trying different things.
Yeah, and also there's such a variety and just a lot of genres in dance. I mean, I've been teaching for over 15 years, but I can pretty much teach anything. Well, I have to admit, I'm not that good in a sensual bachata, right? But I can teach bachata, I can teach salsa on one, on two, a little bit of Cuban style. I can teach kizomba, samba, urban. I'm just a lover of dance and music, right? I'm not limiting myself to just one specific style or genre of music. I can teach cha-cha, I can teach boogaloo, pachanga. I mean, yeah,
so,
I just love it all.
So what, with this, on this note, what would you, if there was something you would like to share with the people on this topic, what would you like them to hear from you?
Well, just to keep an open mind when it comes to dance and music. Keep an open mind. Appreciate the fact that the musicians, the producers, they're making the music for us. It's definitely not for the money, because many of them are not really making money from it. They're doing it for the love, So they're making it for us to enjoy, for us to dance. And before getting into any genre of dance or music, just take the time and learn about the history, the culture, right? Some of the influential people that really brought the music to the limelight, right? That's what I would like to share, because that's what I have done, and many people that I have learned from that they have also done. Just enjoy and learn. We are always a student of the dance, always. Doesn't matter how many years we've been teaching or performing, we always have something to learn.
I like that, to keep an open mind and to learn and to just share with everyone else the love for dancing, to keep an open mind to different dance styles. I really like that. And I think to
Yeah,
connect.
sharing is important. Yeah, sharing is really important. Just share your knowledge.
Yeah, 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 and share the love. I feel that in our community, it's good to put more accent on that. That we can all dance in the same room, being coming from different schools, maybe different styles. We can still just have fun together.
Yeah, yeah. And just don't get angry. Don't be angry at all. Just laugh, smile, dance, connect.
Be happy.
Be happy. There we go. Don't worry, be happy.
So I like to ask you a few questions before we wrap up.
Okay. Do I need to get my lawyer present?
No, but you can get your cat. I know you have a cat. So these questions are like quick answer questions, so to speak. So you will hear, and you can just out of what comes first, you say it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You ready? Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, what is your favorite word?
Ooh. Quickly. Ooh, my favorite word. Giddy up.
Giddy. Giddy up. Do they use
Well,
that?
actually, that's actually more of a phrase. A word like a one word.
Yeah. What would be your favorite word?
One word. Ooh.
Yeah. No rush. You can say it, of course. Just what comes to
One word. Favorite word. Wow. That's okay. Next question. I'll come back to that one.
Well, let's see, because the next one is, what is your least favorite word?
Ooh. Least favorite word.
Yeah.
I would say hate.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Hate.
So do you want me to go back to what is your favorite word?
My favorite word? My favorite word. Ah, man, that one is tough.
Yeah,
but if I had to
Giddy.
if I had to pick something, my favorite word, I would say chicken.
Oh shit. Okay, chicken. Okay, so chicken and hate. Good. So what turns you on?
Ooh. What turns me on is a sensible mind. Yeah.
Deep.
Sensible mind. Yeah.
Okay. What turns you off?
Bad teeth.
Bad teeth?
Teeth.
Like teeth? Like
Teeth. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
smell or just the look? Just like
just the look.
okay.
Yeah, because when I talk to people, I look in their eyes. So yeah. Bad teeth.
Bad teeth. That's the first one. Who's your favorite singer in any genre of music?
Sade.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I heard Sade's real name is actually Helen. I think Helen.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
Yeah. I was shocked. Also, like Helen. So, who is your least favorite singer?
Justin Bieber.
Oh shit! Why?
Just don't like his music.
Okay. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuckery.
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 How do you use it in a sentence?
That was fuckery.
Just that's the sentence.
Yeah, that's a sentence.
Okay, so if you weren't dancing, what other professions would you like to attempt?
Bartending.
Bartending, really?
Yeah, bartending.
What do you like
Because
about it?
I'm a people person, so bartending. I like making cocktails, and just talking to people, because I think I can make really good tips from bartending. Yeah.
So next festival I organize, you're the bartender, right?
No problem.
Okay.
And also a chef. I love cooking.
Cooking, that's nice. Yeah, I remember you cooking. So what profession would you never like to do?
Construction.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just too much heavy lifting. too much hard work. Yeah.
You prefer to lift your dance partner, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
makes sense. So, last question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If you would have a superpower, what would it be?
Ooh. I would say the fly.
To fly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So I would say the fly. Yeah. So I can get from point A to B really quickly. I love traveling.
Mm.
So if you say, hey Mark, you want to join me for a dinner tonight? Sure, no problem. Give me
Just
give me
fly.
45 minutes. Yeah, at this there. Yeah.
Oh. Actually, I feel I would like to ask you one more question connected to this.
Sure.
What do you feel is your superpower now in your life? What is your superpower?
My superpower, um, is I can connect. I can make people feel relaxed
Mm.
and calm around me. Yeah, most people anyway. But I believe that's my superpower. Yeah, I learned a lot from teaching.
Mm.
Right, different age, different race, different gender,
Mm-hmm.
different nationality, religion. So yeah, I believe that's my superpower.
Mm. Okay, that's a good superpower.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, man, it's been good to talk to you, and I know we don't talk so much lately. Everyone, you're traveling, I'm traveling, we don't see each other, but this is also a
Yeah.
good way to share a bit, and I'm sure people will appreciate to hear about your life and everything that you shared today. So thank you again for being the first guest officially.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me, and I wish you all the success in the projects and all your upcoming projects.
Yeah, man.
I don't say a lot to you, but I will use this opportunity to say that I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of from when I met you, where you have been, and where you are now, and where you'll be going. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And for
You're
everyone
welcome.
else, you can visit the website www.8motion.ee, so you can find all these interviews and other things we're going to have. Also, you have Kizomba courses. So, yeah, see you until next time. Peace.
Peace.